My name is Carolyn Roberts, and I would like to talk to you today about how ethnomathematics could possibly be used as a bridge for BC teachers in incorporating Aboriginal ways of knowing into their practice. My current position in Langley is a district Aboriginal teacher, with my main focuses being on grades 6-7 math and early literacy. Because of my position, I get to talk with a lot of different colleagues and teachers and principals within the district about how they are feeling about the new BC education plan and curriculum that has a heavy emphasis on Aboriginal ways of knowing. From all of these discussions, some of the most interesting questions have come up, and these are the ones that seem to be continually coming up that I'd like to share with you today. How can I find the learning spirit in my Aboriginal students? How can I incorporate the Aboriginal value of the sense of place into my teaching math? How can the participatory nature of Aboriginal education authentically help all students in a typical classroom? How do I, as a non-Aboriginal person, authentically teach Aboriginal ways of knowing to Aboriginal students? And where do I go as a non-Aboriginal teacher to find authentic, politically correct material to teach my students? So with all these conversations and questions that are coming up, these all helped me generate a question for this paper. And my question is, can ethnomathematics help teachers with the implementation of Aboriginal ways of knowing into the new BC curriculum? So, you might be wondering, what is ethnomathematics? Ethnomathematics is rooted in culture. It's the study of how math is used within different cultures from around the world. It's used to teach students about math in real-life situations, using their life experience and their prior knowledge, and cultural ways of teaching math. It also incorporates their traditional values within math to help lay a strong foundation and understanding of math. Ethnomathematics is an alternative lens in which you can look at math. It could possibly have a transforming effect on math education and how math can be used and taught within a classroom setting. If we look back on math education, it has been a part of all cultures throughout history. It was started to formally be taught post-industrial revolution to those of privilege, white males, the elite. But if we look closely at all cultures from around the world, past and present, they have all created systems to count, to measure, to design, and to locate places. All of these systems are intricately interwoven within their surrounding environments and cultural perspectives. So you can say that there are parts of math that can be universal, but there are also other parts of math that are clearly based on Western, Eurocentric, colonized education system. So the problem within that is the translation piece of teaching Eurocentric, colonized math education to non-Eurocentric students. If English is not your first language and European is not your culture, then this style of math could be foreign to you. So, teaching our students from their own cultural perspective first helps ground their foundation in math principles before they start to learn something foreign. Math that is rooted in tradition and culture is also deeply rooted within the environment in which the culture lives. If we teach our students real-world uses for the math they learn, They will be able to have a better connection and a better understanding, which will then lead them to becoming more confident in their own knowledge about math.
Shosholoza, kulezo ntaba stimela siphume South Africa. Shosholoza, kulezo ntaba stimela siphume South Africa. When uyabaleka, kulezo ntaba stimela siphume South Africa. When uyabaleka, kulezo ntaba stimela siphume South Africa. Shosholoza, kulezo ntaba stimela siphume South Africa.
So, making the real-world connections and broadening your students' views on math will help them be more aware of how to use math and where math is used on a daily basis. This will also help your students with making connections to their own education. If we teach math in terms of just memorization of formulas and numbers and give no reason why we do what we do, then the students who are not able to do the memorization of the numbers will fail. And those who can memorize the numbers and regurgitate the information will do well, but they won't be able to tell you why or how they know what they know. Making cultural and real-life connections with math will definitely benefit all types of students. The problem that arises from European colonized math education is that it's said to be universal and that it can be used in any and all languages and still be understood. This is not necessarily so. Most European number systems are base 10, which all numbers are based around the number 10. And when you ask people why it is, most people will tell you it's because we have 10 fingers. So everything revolves around the 10 fingers. Other cultures have different base numbers that they work with. People of the West Africa, Inuit, and the Mayan people use a base 20 system. In some of the languages, 20 means the whole person. So maybe that's meant to be 10 fingers and 10 toes. And that's why they use 20. When the settlers first came to North America, there was a numbering system put in place by using fingers for those people who didn't speak the same languages. There's some cultures that not only use different numbering systems, but they also see and talk about numbers in a whole different type of relationship. So let's take the number 65 in base 10. If you ask a Nigerian person how they would tell you about the number 65, they would say, take 5 and 10 from 320s. They use addition and subtraction to describe their numbers. This can be problematic when you try to translate from one language to another language. But it can also be helpful to see things in a different way, to see how many different ways we can possibly look at a number. So if we give students different options of viewing the same thing, we are giving them a larger range of understanding of what a number can mean. Different cultures and people have created their own math languages and systems that relate to their everyday needs and interests within their environment. So let's start there with our students. Start finding out where your students' interests are, what they already know, what they want to know, and what their cultural background is. Then find some real-world connections and cultural connections that can be made with all of this information. Then start to construct knowledge from that. Find out where the links are within the bits of knowledge from each place. Then start to link together the bits, but keep in mind that the relationship between the bits are just as important as the bits themselves. When we link students and cultures with the knowledge, this will not only ground the knowledge, but it also gives students a sense of pride in their culture and who they are as a person. We want to give meaning to the things that we are teaching our children in order for them to feel connected to their education and also feel connected to their surrounding world. With ethnomathematics and Aboriginal culture, it is my hope that we can start regaining our connection to our culture and heritage that has been lost, regaining the importance of the connection and relationship is how I can see ethnomathematics being used as a tool for learning within the BC curriculum. So is ethnomathematics bringing diversity to the mainstream? Could it help in decolonizing our school systems that we have currently in place? My concerns and my questions and my reservations about it is I don't really see decolonization as something that's actually going to be possible or happen. But I do like the definition that Smith states about decolonization. Decolonization does not mean and has not meant a total rejection of all theory or research or Western knowledge. It is about centering our concerns and our worldviews and then coming to know and understand theory and research from our own perspective and for our own purpose. My interpretation of this is, as we move forward, we should be asking more people to come to the table of curriculum development and collaborating with more people all the time and often to see how we can improve our current education system. My concerns about trying to incorporate Aboriginal knowledge into our school system is that we'll be taking the knowledge away from where it originates. We are removing the information and knowledge from the place from where it was developed and rooted. We then put math principles to things that aren't typically known as math in the Aboriginal culture. It is only known as math in the Western knowledge and education system and mathematicians. What it's doing is decontextualizing the Aboriginal knowledge and its original meaning. So the actual knowledge itself gets lost in translation from one place to another place. It's like Kovacs states, and this is my favorite visual for this, is that we are taking the tree all by itself and trying to place it within a different system. So here the tree is our knowledge, and we're taking that knowledge and we're putting it in to a different knowledge system. And what we leave behind are the roots and the ground, which is the foundation of this knowledge. So we're missing more than half the tree because all of it's here, and we're moving it to here. This gets lost in the translation of one knowledge to another knowledge. That's my biggest concern. What ethnomathematics can bring to us as teachers is broaden our awareness of how to view and teach math. It can help us as teachers see math in more than one way and help us teach our students that have different learning abilities. From this cartoon, it's my favorite, that shows what our typical classrooms are looking like. For a fair selection, everybody has to take the same exam. Please climb the tree. And as you can see in the picture, not everybody's going to be able to do that. And we face those same challenges within our classrooms today. And what ethnomathematics could possibly do for some of these students is it could open some doors to students, some doors that weren't open before to them, that were closed off to. So it could be used that way in order to help them. We can use ethnomathematics as a holistic approach to teaching. We can think of it as a stage of math development for our students. A stage that could help ground and root math knowledge into our natural world around us and help us make those connections, with the hopes that we might be able to reach some more learners and enhance our students' ability to make meaningful connections with their learning and hopefully making a deeper connection to their own education. After reading and researching about ethnomathematics, I thought that I have found this bridge that could be used to bridge Aboriginal ways of knowing into our current system, our current education system. But after reading and researching all this, I found myself in a paradox of how can we incorporate this into the system without losing so much of the important information that's within the culture? And is that possible to take that culture out and put it into the system? Or do we need to look at the systems? Do we need to look at the school system the way it is now and keep it Western colonized European education system and only teach that way and one way to everybody so that everybody's on an even playing field? Well, that's what we're doing now, and it doesn't seem to be working. So what's another alternative? What's another option that we could do? Another option is that we could take our system that we have and try to broaden it and try to make it more accessible to more learners by taking other cultures and other knowledges and putting them into that knowledge system. But then, as Kovacs states, there's so much that gets lost in translation by taking one knowledge from another system and trying to put it into a system where it doesn't belong. There's so much stuff that gets lost in translation. And not only does that get lost in translation, you're saying, here's your Aboriginal knowledge and here's your place within the Western colonized education system. So we're giving it a place, we're including it, but what we're actually doing is excluding it because we're keeping it at arm's length, saying here's where you can do all of your Aboriginal stuff, but it's only within our system, and we're going to stay here and you're going to stay there. So they're actually excluding it. So does that make sense? Does that help our situation? No. So then what's another option? Another option is that we could take all these cultural information and all these different knowledge systems and then have a whole huge array of different schools open to everybody, and whoever wants to go to where they feel like they should go. They should all go to where they belong in these schools. So then we're isolating people also. But then we have to have some kind of overarching thing that says you guys can have your own ways, but within those own ways, we still have to have productive members of society in the 21st century. Is this possible? Does this make sense? I have no idea. So, as we walk through this paradox of this education system and what we're going to do for our children, who knows what the future holds for our students and our children? What's the future going to look like? What skills are our children going to need for that future? And how can our traditions and history and heritage and cultural ways help our students make a better future for everybody? I believe that the answers lie within making connections with each other as teachers, collaborating, bringing more people to the table, asking more questions, and having more discussions about that. We also need to make connections with our history. We need to make connections with our environment, our surrounding world. We need to have our students connected to the place in which we live. And I think the most important connection that we need to make as teachers is making connections with our students. Making those connections will help us become better teachers and better connections to the world around us. I do believe that ethnomathematics can be used as a tool for BC teachers, But we must remember we need to walk softly as we venture into this new way of teaching. We have to walk softly with extreme care. Trying to combine complex epistemologies together, be very aware of what's going to get lost in translation as we transfer one knowledge into another. Be very mindful of what gets left out, and be sure that we don't completely lose the foundation in which this knowledge has come from. Thank you for listening to me today. I hope that this gives you some insights that might be helpful as we move forward into the new BC curriculum. It is my hope that more changes can be made within the system. I hope that more people are asked to come to the table in creating new curriculum, and that there's more discussions about how we educate our future generations.
I'm a new soul, I came to this strange world hoping I could learn a bit about how to give and take. But since I came